Okay. So here we are. So we have all these images from last night, and we're gonna work our way through as many of these as we can. It's just a fun bit of stuff. So let's see what we can accomplish. I hope everybody's having a good Thursday. Oh, I got the hiccups. I just ate lunch. It's Thursday, but so this will air tonight, and after Rosemary's Live on Patreon, content for everyone. I think that's a pretty okay thing to do since we do the harvest, on YouTube. I don't know if eventually I'm going to shift all the way over to just doing videos off Patreon. Because that leaves out the possibility of somebody just happening across, one of my videos. I love this of the elephant, the matriarch of her herd. Just feel like her face tells a story, I didn't even realize. I'm sure it must have. They're mammals. That really long eyelashes, probably to protect the eyes from sand and dust and stuff like that. Same with us, but these are kind of exceptionally long, I feel like. But yeah, I just feel like this is a really great image. We'll have to find a nice spot for it. So this one we're just going to trim down a little bit for now. Just take the words off it here and take the edge off it there. And then we'll see what we might do with it later on. I could go in the big file folder book, because that one has pages for bigger images. Here we've got some of the birdies from yesterday. We did that big Better Homes and Gardens first, and then the travel magazine. So we'll be going in the opposite direction this time. Travel magazine first, and then birds and Better Homes and Gardens. I think birds always bring a little color to it. I've never been a bird person, although there's that joke going around, at what age do you wake up one day and suddenly you're interested in birds? Because it does seem to happen as you get older. Yeah, maybe that's because the pace of life kind of changes, as you get older. You're not necessarily raising kids anymore. Grandkids might be a big part of your life, but, your grandparents, you're typically, as you get into your 50s and 60s, you're not actively parenting. There are exceptions, of course. Families are made up of all different kinds of, and things happen. But very generally speaking, things tend to slow down. Maybe you're not working as much, or you're doing that midlife career change kind of thing. Maybe you got lucky enough to retire early. But, as you get older, your interests change. I'm not saying you're less active, but maybe you're slowing down and you're taking notice, and, when before you might have gone, oh, look, birds. And then as you get older, maybe what kind of bird is that? And now your phone will tell you, you can snap a picture of it. There's an app that will tell you what kind of bird it is and all kinds of information about it. It's a lot easier than it used to be. You used to have to do, some serious research to figure some stuff out about birds. But they're nice in collages just because they bring a little color. And a lot of people like birds. So I'm going to put that in the tiny teeny pile for now because they're small images. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to cut the tree off here. Try not to cut any of the branches though. So I'm going to focus on that side of the image. It's a nice picture. I love pictures of trees. Look, it's got a little character. It's out there by itself. They speak to me. Everybody has things they like, and they may not be able to exactly articulate why. But I think that's a nice image. I don't really know. I guess it's just kind of a silly thing. The bird on the giraffe. It's not the focus you usually get on a giraffe. I am going to cut a little bit from the top and bottom off, though. We'll still be able to tell what it is, but and trim up the side where we tore it out of the magazine, but make it a little more manageable sized, you know. So I think we'll leave it there for now and see what we can do with it. But it's a off perspective, you know. You still know it's a giraffe, but it's not the part they usually see the long gangly legs, or you know, a bit of neck and the head of the giraffe eating leaves. These pictures, I love Joshua trees, but I have a cactus book somewhere. These aren't the best pictures. They're very blurry. So I'm gonna put this image aside and let it go. Because it's blurry and it's not gonna look good in a glue book, I don't think. All right, so here we go. Some food. That's a very long, skinny tea. Maybe we want it for rancid wooders, just because it's different, you know? So there we go. We got a picture of some food. We're just putting our images off to the side over here. Let me grab some scissors. And we'll take this tea as well. I have a little spot up here. I can put some rancid butters. So Buggy showed up, and I think Els and Sandy went out to do some shopping or pick some things up. I don't know. I'm not sure what I think this might be. Let's see if it says up here. This was about Joshua Tree National Park. I don't know if that's like an art installation or a satellite. It's very shiny. But I don't feel like I need to have that for a collage. I think it's another one I'm gonna let go of. It's a pretty enough image, for sure. But I actually have lots of desert stuff. Coming up, we're gonna do some videos. Content coming out for harvesting some book images. I think a couple of garden books. I have that desert book that I should harvest from. I have lots of things that need to be culled. So we'll take what we can out of it. We'll recycle the rest. Some of it might become paper packs. Let's see. This is that interesting. It's got, let's see where it was. Virgin Islands. This is in the Virgin Islands. And you can see the pool with the really blue water. Interesting roof on this. I wonder what it looks like from the side because they're only showing us an aerial shot. Still didn't quite get enough of that, did I? A little bit of white at the bottom there. And we may crop that down further to just be that building. We'll see. I kind of like it because there's gardens out here. There's a pool over here. Who knows? I think this is the one that was on like 43 or 44 acres. Okay, so do I want the mermaid lady? Or I kind of like this. But I think she's pretty striking. Let's, with her blue hair and her blue wetsuit. We're going to crop her down pretty close, though. It's a pretty big image. All right. We got her. It's very striking. It's very bright blue. Sushi. Yeah, we'll go with the sushi side. So, I think I said earlier, I've been watching rom-coms on Netflix. I wanted this picture down here. This little wavy building. It's interesting. And I think, yeah, I think that's all we wanted off here. Because the other part, the recycling. So let me see. Let me grab my list of what I watched. That'll give me something to talk about, even if you guys don't want to watch the movies. Probably a little bit better than silence, right? All right, let's see here. Because I write my list in all different directions. It's sometimes hard to pick out what I want. But it's a little bit intentional, you know? Plus it makes it interesting visually. Okay. So, I started with a movie called Far Away. Let me pull up a little synopsis of that. Hold on for a second. Let me bring that up so it's easier to... Okay. Far Away. Hold on. There's no way to see the descriptions without it pulling up a... Okay. So, it says genres, German romantic comedy, and it's a dubbed movie. It says German, but I think that she's after inheriting a house on a Croatian island. A woman embarks on a spur of the moment trip that reignites her joy in life and opens a door to new love. So it's a typical rom-com situation. She's a middle-aged woman, you know, with a grown kid going off to college and kind of an inconsiderate husband. And as is typical in families in other parts of the world, her father lives with them, and her mother had recently passed. So from the neighbor upstairs, she gets the neighbor upstairs is a lawyer, and she gets a packet of papers and finds out she's inherited this house. At the same time, she kind of finds out her husband is possibly cheating on her. And so she goes off on this trip. And I'm not spoiling anything because that's like the description basically. It's cute. It's as cute as any other rom-com you watch. That a lot of them meet that description. Middle-aged woman, cheating husband, starting a new life, all of that sort of thing. But I have the feeling that it says it's German, so it might be German made. But I don't think the initial part of the movie, the second part of the movie is set in Croatia. I think that the first part is actually set in Turkey. But I could be wrong. The lawyer upstairs that lives upstairs from them is German, so maybe they're living in Germany. And the guy owns a restaurant. The husband. And she goes off on her own to Croatia to look at this house. Ridiculous stuff ensues. Heartwarming things. And then, that moment where, in every movie where they're like, are you going to go back and go to your own life? Or are you going to embark on this new life? Or are you going to do some combination of the two? And then you have the happy ending, right? I enjoyed it. It was kind of, because it's not ethnically American. It was interesting to see that template in another culture, right? It was for me anyway. I thought it was really cute and sweet. Ooh, and I do want these words "be amazed" down here. The last few magazines I've harvested, I haven't found that many words that I liked. But maybe I'm not looking as hard either. Two people, up on a little, hiking out there, looking at the views. And I think that the mountains back here, I think that's this picture right here. I think that this is, same article, same. Let's see if we want any of these other two. This couple sitting outside the cafe here is pretty cool. We could use that in our neighborhood book, right? So I really like that. And I would recommend it if you like that kind of rom-com, or you're just looking for something like a palate cleanser. Sometimes I'll watch rom-coms or comedies after watching a bunch of horror or something kind of depressing, just to shake it off a little bit. It looks like they're advertising for some kind of plastic bowls here. I don't know what's going on in the top. I'm going to let that one go. But I would recommend it. So it's called Far Away. It's from 2023 and it's an hour and 49 minutes long. It is available on Netflix. I feel like I'm a walking advertisement for Netflix right now. So just cute. And I think we're going to put that into our neighborhood a teeny pile. Are you guys interested in seeing me sort? When I'm all done, or when I reach a point where I've got enough that it's time to sort, I'll keep the scuba diving one. Maybe. I don't know. We'll take it for now. Are you interested in seeing a kind of a sort, like how I sort them, or just sorting and kind of looking through? Because a lot of what I've processed has been off camera. I have piles and piles of it right now. But I sort them a little bit thematically, and obviously I take some of everything for the various glue book projects and roles that we have going on. I liked this. I liked these two in particular, but I think we'll probably take that one too. Global Vision Awards. It said Global Vision Boards, and I got a little excited. Does anybody still do vision boards? I feel like I like to do a vision glue book, like a future interest kind of glue book. Life goals and stuff. Or I don't have things I absolutely feel like I have to do before I die. But I have, interests, things that I want to pursue. I'd like to knit a little bit more. I don't feel like I have the time here. I just really like that image. If it's less than 2 1/4, we can put it into the quarter. Yeah, we can put that into the rollatini because 2 1/4 is how wide that is. So we'll throw that into the rollatini. So that's what started the ball rolling. I had been watching Supernatural and it got a little heavy, which it does, you know, Supernaturals. And I'm in kind of one of the parts that I don't like as much. With the Leviathans, I think that storyline was a little over the top. So this is too big for the 2 1/4 would be right there. Do we want to, maybe let's trim off some from the top? Because I'll probably use them reasonably close together. See, I think that those will be fun together, kind of close because they're colorful and fun. So we'll put both of those into the tiny teeny. And she's working at a loom here. This is obviously not going to go in the tiny teeny, but we are going to cut it down a little bit. So these are all hand woven pieces and stuff that I kind of feel like, I don't know how to best do it. Maybe it's some kind of flippy flappy thing, like a future goals in images and maybe some lists or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you interested in something like that? And seeing me work through something like that? Because I'm talking about, you know, my interest in stuff, that might be a Patreon thing, or, you know, we can vote. Not everybody cares that the content is solely on Patreon. Some people are just supporting to be supportive, you know. And I'm happy either way. But I want to give, you know, you guys the content you want to see, and none of this whatever you want stuff. But also, we've been talking about the Baba Yaga house for a while, and I love this. Be amazed. So, yay, some good words. We have a little bitty one right here, expanding horizons. That we'll probably take that too. So we've got a sloth, and I don't know that I'm particularly interested in the rest of these. So I'm gonna maybe let's cut the edge off just to right there. Because that's not flat. I want to then turn it and cut it this way where the sloth is. And then we'll pull that away because we want expanding horizons. I feel like how do you guys feel about starting that? I was supposed to start it in August, and then I got the news that we discussed and it was decided, kind of everybody. I'm going to put that in the tiny teeny pile, and then this I don't care for. It's just Ustur kind of hotel stuff, right? Where was I? Oh, so Baba Yaga was kind of slipped my mind. But it's a good fall winter thing, right? Although I think you could do Baba Yaga at any time. So we could explore the mythology a little bit maybe, and start working on building the house, doing some of the prep work, and taking out the pieces and talking about how I want to work it. Are you guys interested in that as a YouTube or a Patreon or a little bit of both? So we've got not interested in that one here. That's I think that's part of a luxury hotel. Interest to the Seven Seas Splendor Compass Rose Restaurant, and that's apparently on a cruise line. But here with the stream and the woods, I love those kind of pictures. I do miss day hiking. It would be nice to I would eventually like to get a car after I move out, and it'll take a few years. I've talked a lot about saving up for a computer and stuff, and I'm going to be honest. I am a bit of a spendthrift. You know, I am kind of a spur of the moment shopper, but I want to be clear. I could have had a computer multiple times in the 6 or so years that I've been here. I think I'm going to take this one. And maybe we'll do the family for the people roll. What happens is I save up the money, and I have, some money saved up, and then we would go on a trip, and I would spend the money on the trip. And that goes for whether the money was made door dashing or through sales. And the trips aren't cheap, even if Ellis is paying for the gas and stuff. It doesn't. That's far and away from the point. There's food expense for snacks and drinks, and meals. So that money would get spent. And then there were periods where I was depressed, and you all are most of you are pretty aware of my history with depression. So there were periods where I just really didn't do anything because I didn't really do anything, Getting back out in the world, and let's see, this is one of the ski lift type things. I can't remember the name of it at the moment. Monorail, monolift, mono something. If I trimmed off just a little bit here, that'll fit in the Rollatini. And I think that's fun. That's a nice picture. I think it'll be fun to use. So there are several where I wasn't making any money at all. And I'm struggling with depression right now, if I'm perfectly honest. And it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the decision to move out. That's a little stressful just because I'm starting with nothing. It's not like I have had, I haven't managed to save up any money. But that is my own fault. That has nothing to do with Els or all the decision that was reached. But it is, while it's stressful, it's also motivating, in a way that, and it's partially fueled by the fact that I didn't want to go on anymore. I wanted to take a year to a year and a half off from trips so that I could save up money and focus on getting my Etsy store fixed up and all that. And now I have 6 months to find a job and a place, and and that puts things like a new computer kind of on the back burner. I don't have the overhead light in because of the glare, so you guys will have to let me know if this is too dark, because some clouds just came over, and the light that was kind of coming in through the window over there is not coming in anymore. So so that's kind of where I'm at, and I'm not looking for sympathy or help or anything else like that. I'm just kind of laying out the facts as they are. This is kind of a darker page, even without the low light. That could be kind of fun though for the neighborhood of Teeny. Maybe I do want to turn this light just a little bit more this way though. There we go. I think this is the bottom of a zip line here, and this could work in the tiny teeny, and there's a little. So we should take. I don't know about the guy at the bar, but we should take some of these for our smaller glue books and stuff. So that's basically my starting point. So I need to get some money in my bank, and some money in my PayPal, hence the sales coming up. I will be culling quite a bit of stuff, just because whether I move to a place here or I find a place someplace else, if it comes to pass that a national park is where I wind up, all my stuff will wind up going in storage, and I'll probably work there for a couple of years, because you can live and work in a national park. A lot of them are dorm housing. And the expenses are minimal for housing there. They take it out of your check. Meals it's kind of a meal plan, and that comes out of your check. And then the rest of it, since I don't have a car, you get to experience the joy of living in a national park and all the recreational opportunities that entails. But there won't be really any shops to spend money on. That is a tiny, tiny image, so we're definitely putting that in the tiny, teeny. I don't think I'm going to do this little tiny plate of food, but let's do at least these two. If that's the case, then I won't be dyeing paper for a couple of years. I don't anticipate that being the case, and I am trying to dye papers ahead I have a couple of people, somebody who prepaid a whole year, that I am working on getting all of that together. So if it comes to pass that that's where I wind up, I'll just mail all those papers out in February when I go to work in the national park. What I'm mostly looking to do right now is find a job locally, maybe just seasonally through the end of Christmas, to save up some money for the move, for an apartment and deposits and groceries and I'm going to need a couple of place settings of silverware and stuff like that. And that's not a big deal. That can all be thrifted. I will need to find some slightly more work appropriate clothing. And if I wind up moving someplace a little colder, I'm going to need warmer clothes. But that can be thrifted at the time or closer to the time. I'm not interested in accumulating a bunch of things before I move. That would be a little silly. Like I said before, I like these images. I like to have them. The girl on the surfboard's kind of a classic thing. I really like it. Even though I'm not really a beach person, that doesn't mean the vibe is fun, right? It's a little whimsical, a little silly. So we're adding those in. So I have things I have my eye on. And whether or not I find a job seasonally or not, I hope to have enough sales to accumulate money for... I think maybe I want to crop that down to just that house and that little, not this big square building in the background, but so maybe, yeah. I don't know. This is easier when you guys are actually here talking to me. I'm just rambling away. So maybe we'll talk tomorrow a little bit about it if you're interested. Okay, so let's go ahead and crop this one down. I guess wherever Els and Sandy went, they must be back. I heard the door slamming. Yeah, and I'm concerned because one of my concerns is the rents in Vegas went really sky high after COVID, and they haven't really come back down. I'd really kind of hoped to not be living here anymore before now. And that's not a disparaging thing about Els and Mike or anything like that. They are wonderful people. They have treated me well. I have been well fed and well housed and given space to work and all that. I'm not saying that, it's just time. They have things in their lives. Mike is getting closer to retirement. The grandchildren are going to need to be spending more time here, especially Buggy. I think he's doing partial distance school. Life in balance. I think I want that. So he can't necessarily be at home by himself because, if you leave a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old home alone all day, they're not necessarily going to do their schoolwork, and we all know that. So they really kind of need this room for the grandkids. And if they move for retirement to the middle of the country, like they've been talking about, they've been looking at places in like Kansas and Oklahoma and stuff like that, where once this place is in Mike's name, they can really get a lot more bang for their buck. What costs a whole lot here might buy them a house and then some there. So that would be very good for them, for sure. But I have no desire to live in that part of the country, and I never intended to be here for like 10 years, I've already been here somewhere between 5 and 6, possibly going on 7. I would have to go back and look at dates, but I think it's fairly close to 7, But it could be, I could be jumping a year ahead too early. I would have to go back and look at dates. But that's still a very long time to live with, other people. And for a while, it was very good for everybody because, when I got here, Mike wasn't at home, and Els had some falls, and her health wasn't as good as it is now. Her health is so much better now than it was. And so, in a sense, I was a companion for her going out on her errands and stuff. And then it became the trip thing, and so a lot of my time was taken up just being out and about with Els. But those things aren't really necessary anymore for her, and so here we find ourselves. Lives change, like I said, with the grandkids and stuff. And Els, I think, would really, really enjoy being able to have the grandkids over here and have their own space. And the grandkids are at an age where the living room's not really ideal for them, They're getting to that age where they want more private space. Especially Shaylee. There's no 16-year-old girl that wants to sleep in a living room. So she would be able to come over more too. And I think she's finally having a shift in her attitude a little bit. And it's good to see her and Els, back in more communication. And she loves all her grandkids, so it's hard when they don't want to come and visit and be a part of her life. So, you take all those things into account, and for sure. I'm actually going to try and cut this in half without cutting off that little girl's fingers. And I'll treat them as 2 separate, unrelated images. And so I've looked at probably I'll wind up in a studio because that'll be the cheapest option. I'd love to have a 1-bedroom, but that may not be in the cards. I am willing to move, for if there's a greater opportunity for employment, definitely for a chance to get out of the desert heat. I'd trade some snow for less desert heat for sure. I think I just want this picture of the, I do love this side, but you know what? I think I can get both. I think that I can get this Buddha picture, and I think I can get the vineyard stuff on the other side. But, a lot of studios are just a box with a kitchen and a bathroom attached. And I might be able to swing it. There are studios as small as my bedroom, but usually they're a little larger than the bedroom I'm staying in. They're probably, I think my bedroom and a little bit further into Sandy's room, if I went, They're usually like a small rectangle with a kitchen and a bathroom attached that are semi-separate rooms sometimes. Sometimes you wind up with a galley kitchen kind of situation at one end. But I've lived in a number of studios in my time. I think that's going to be for the tiny teeny. And then we'll trim. I'm going to trim down some of the vineyard here. And a little bit in the background, I think. I like the bread basket, kind of the little off to the side. Just a little tall, skinny picture. Sometimes we have stuff we need that's just that size. And I like bread. So a studio would work. Ideally, I'd love to have, a one bedroom where I could have a bedroom separate from where I do my work. But I think I could take a bunch of my stuff. Now, if I move somewhere else, then I have to save enough money to either have my stuff shipped there, and I would have to pare down a lot because, moving to a distance is always. Oh, I think I threw away some words I wanted. Shoot. I think I just want this big word experiences. I either maybe want it for ransom letters or just for what it is. So I'm going to grab some scissors here and just cut off the ends. And I'll decide a little bit later exactly what we're doing with that. Not in love with this big image. It's a little, I don't know. It's not quite in sharp as contrast as I would normally like for something like that. Yeah, studio would definitely work. Locally, I'm definitely not interested in renting a room because I'm locked out here in such a phenomenal way that I've been able to do my business here. Because they certainly didn't have to give me space in the garage. It's not like they're charging me extra for that or anything. But I doubt that I could find another room to rent that would, I just don't see that being a viable solution, Otherwise, I would have to give up the business. And I really would prefer not to. Like I said, at this point, the only exception I'm willing to make is if I got a job in a national park where housing and everything was super cheap. And I could just spend a couple years saving all of my income. Typically, they pay minimum wage or slightly above. But if my living expenses are minimal, that's not necessarily a bad thing. When I worked in national parks before, I saved up a ton of money. Because, outside of drinking, and I don't really drink, and eating, you could dine out a lot, I guess. But, so I think we'll take this. And maybe we'll take these and we'll decide, I do like that, but we can't have both. So I'd have to decide. Maybe we'll take these two small ones and that other small one, because I think I have this from another magazine, or it's possible that I'll find another one like it in a similar. I have a few other travel and leisure magazines. I picked up a whole bunch at one time, and so I have a few more scattered throughout my. One thing I do need to do is really pare down my magazines. I have tons and tons, and if I move any place that isn't local, I don't know that I'd want to move those, because you can't even set those book rate, because magazines aren't considered a book. So, got a lot of harvesting to do. And that'll be good, because that's collage packs I can put in the store, and cold images can still take up a lot of space, but They can be stored by theme and then, filed away in boxes until the right time. If I were to get a job in a national park, I would just put my stuff in storage. Obviously, a seriously culled down version of it. I don't think there's any way I move and I don't cull down quite a bit. I do like the cheesecake flowers, so I'm going to cut a little bit off the edge here. And we're going to make your own bouquet. Cute. A little bit off the bottom because, I don't like the words. We'll go and trim a little bit all the way around just to make it a little more manageable, but not take out everything that's, All right, there we go. That could be fun for the Fruitini maybe. Oh, and there it goes right off the pan. See, like sometimes the fan catches something and just flop right onto the floor. So here we have some fun small images that we're definitely going to use. So I got to figure out the best way to cut these off. I think the best way is to start here. Or maybe to cut just a thin little. Let's make that a straight edge before we get going at all. Oh, I need to get a drink of water. All right. Water everywhere. Lots of drops to drink. After I do this, I need to go out and change out paper in the garage. I'm hoping to catch Rosemary's Live tonight. I was intrigued by the door books she's doing. I definitely don't have $40 to spend on a kit, but it looked like a really neat idea. And I might be able to, work something out on my own. Put it in my project list, right? That's extensive already. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about the Baba Yaga. The only downer will be if I move, I would have to chuck it out. Because it's going to be a big project. It won't move well if it's not local. And here we go. Little image. Big giant table outside. Like one of those town, like in a little center median in a small town where they have trees and grass and stuff. It must be like a more than 20-foot table, or they put a bunch of tables together. Community type meal thing. That's cool. Okay. So over here we've got a little small image of I think she's harvesting from garden right there. So over here, I'm going to cut this down a little bit. And then we're going to cut the girl at the beach off. And we'll trim this here, I think. So we've got another outdoor table. And then we've got these two small images that I think I can get with the scissors. I think that'll be okay. I'm getting a little better about it. So there's that. And this itty bitty one right here that'll definitely be for the tiny teeny. Okay. There we go. Okay. Oh, hit the little extra bit right here. So I'm going to try and keep this to about an hour. You guys will have to let me know, your thoughts on stuff. If you don't want to put your message in a comment, if you have something to say but you don't feel comfortable making it where everyone can see it, you can always message me or email me. My email's in every description box for these videos on for anyone that might not already have access to it. And a good number of you have access to Messenger to reach me. I'm open to suggestions and stuff. Regarding any or everything we've talked about today. I need to take a little bit off this side. That's the raggedy edge. So in a way, I am very much looking forward to it. I've talked a lot about, cooking for myself again and not like I'm making a stink about it, but Els has a lot of food she can't eat or doesn't like. She's rather a picky eater. And so the menu is necessarily limited. There's a lot of vegetables she doesn't really like. There's a lot that she's actually, allergic to. Shellfish, spinach, mushrooms. Pretty much if I love it, she's probably allergic to it. And that makes it harder. If I were inclined to cook meals, like almost everything I make has mushrooms, spinach. I don't make a lot with shellfish, though. That's a Mike thing. So I think maybe do we want these little people? Probably we do, right? So let's kind of cut this in half and work at it from there. And maybe even in half this way. We'll take it in quarters. So we're almost at an hour. I think this will be the last part we do. And then I'll have to make another video, which maybe I'll release a couple of videos over the weekend for this because I really need to get this harvested and all done up, Let's see. I'm not really interested. It's like a stone bench and some palm trees. It's not all that exciting. I think that one we can do without. And we'll just cut the top and the bottom here with the scissors. Because I think I can manage that much. Right. Moving on to the next one. Yeah, let me know, your thoughts, whatever. I'm always happy to hear from you guys. And I am beyond excited about Baba Yaga. I have quite a bit collected up for it. I'd love to see it come together. My only down is if I wind up moving to someplace that isn't Vegas, which I am very open to. It's the most logical move in terms of it'll be easier to move me across town than for me to get all my stuff someplace else. And I don't really want to have to get rid of everything and take a suitcase and start someplace else. I mean, I could, though, for the right opportunity. Certainly willing to do it. I'm going to take the bird because I think that'll be fun in a journal. So, there's all these possibles. So that's part of what's stressing me. The other part is getting a job. It's true that I could probably sell off enough to get myself started somewhere. But if I move to someplace else here, a job is very important because I can't get an apartment without one here. I can save up enough money for a deposit, and I just moved here, and I've got a job lined up. We did that when we came from Death Valley to Phoenix, We had jobs already lined up. 2 of the 3 of us did when we came. And some places are willing to work with you if you can pay, a couple months up front and you have a job lined up, a place where they can call and go, is this person, starting on such and such a date? Sometimes a place will work with you on that. Okay. I think maybe we do want the guy sitting at the booth here with his cowboy hat on. I can't tell if he's looking at his phone or reading a book. I think he's looking at his phone. That could go in the neighborhood of teeny. Maybe it's a Western bar in the neighborhood. Okay. And last one for today. Oh, I made that even skinnier than it needed to be. Okay, well, we got to take this off altogether. Okay. See, so there's varying degrees of how far am I willing to go as far as it takes. I'd prefer not to give up my stuff. I think that's the case for everybody, but if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But I don't want to panic and just unload everything, you know, in a blind panic. That would be silly. And living by myself also allows me to do some things that I just can't do here, business-wise, for space reasons and just for the you can't do that in my house kind of thing, you know. Okay. I just want to crop this down. I'm going to do one more, you know. Here we go. And this is a cover page, so it's a little bit thicker. And I'm going to take some of the mountains there and then we'll trim it down a little bit on that side. And there we go. Alaska whale tail. Okay. So let's get rid of these extra pieces. And let's see how much we have left. I think we have left for just about, well, we're into the, so we did a food magazine too, didn't we? Did we? I don't know if we got to the eating well or not. No, this is just the better. We've gotten into the better. So we finished the, oh, my neck popped. That was nice. Well, the travel and leisure. So what's left is the Better Homes Garden. So look for that on Saturday or Sunday. It'll come up as a video. And oh, I found the the missing image from Creative Chaos. So I'll put that right up here. We'll use it tomorrow. And this is what we got harvested. Minus what I put in the I put a bunch in the tiny teeny and a couple images up here that are for other things, you know. All right. So that's everything for this video. Just shy of an hour. By the time I've done my outro, we'll be, you know, right at an hour. Thanks for listening to me babble. I hope you guys have a great, have had a great Thursday, because by the time this airs, it'll be late Thursday night. And you might not even till Saturday or later on. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you have enjoyed the content, let me know. I like to hear from you guys. Have a great weekend if I don't see you tomorrow night for Hanging in the Hollow. There'll be a flip through Friday video tomorrow. We're doing a revisit of the Halloween glue book from a couple of years ago, because I'm going to start a new one, I think, to work on in September and October, obviously. However you guys are spending your days and nights, I hope it brings you great joy and happiness. Each and every one of you absolutely deserves it. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You are awesome, amazing, lovely people, and I am far better for knowing you for sure. Until I see you in one of my lives or in a box somewhere, I wish you guys the happiest of crafting. Bye, 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 bye. The end. We're pushing that button.